Hey guys, so this is a video I found. What is Linux noob to noob explanation? And she's going over what Linux is, and I'm gonna explain some points that some of my friends don't get, and I'm sure there's others that are probably the same. So let's get to it.
Mary again, this time without my guitar. Now, some of you might know that I run Ubuntu, a Linux-based operating
So I don't know who this is. I suppose hence the fact since I found it.
system on my computer. And for those of you who have no idea what that means, this video is for you. See, I want to explain what Linux is in easy, simple to understand terms, Bill Nye the Science Guy style, for those of you who have no idea what it even is. But before I get into it, let me just give you a disclaimer. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't expect you to know what you're talking about.
What? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Wait, let's check that again.
Disclaimer. I don't know what I'm talking about.
If you don't know what you're talking about, why are you doing this video?
And I don't expect you to know what you're talking about either. Some of you might be computer science majors, and some of you might not know the difference between Wi-Fi and dial-up. So, just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that I'm talking to my mother. Also, I can't guarantee that any of this is going to make sense. So, anyways, let's go over the basics. The first is, what is an operating system? You might not know it, but you're already familiar with two different operating systems, Windows and Mac OS X.
Actually, you're more familiar with three. Windows, Mac OS X, and the one on your phone. That's if you have an iPhone or Android. They have OSs on them, but if you don't, then she's right. You're familiar with two. Now, what is an OS? See, she's going to explain what an OS is, but I'll tell you my opinion after.
So now that you have an idea what we're talking about, an operating system is software that provides an interface between hardware and user. What? Okay, so basically it's the go-between, the middleman that takes what you say and then relays it back to your hardware or your physical computer. It's what makes everything work. Without your operating system, your computer is just a bunch of plastic and metal pieces. Okay, so
basically, how would I explain it is basically the interface, the GUI, if you will. Actually, that is what it is. But that's how I would explain if someone asked me, because if you explain it some complicated way, they'll say what. And yeah, so basically everything you see when you turn on a computer, that's what an OS is. That's how I would explain it to someone if they ask me what an OS is. So yeah, let's continue.
Linux an operating system? No, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Linux is a kernel of code. In computer speak, a kernel is the most important part of your operating system. It's what connects the software to the hardware. The Linux kernel was written in 1991 by a guy in Finland named Linus Torvald, or Linus. I don't know, we would pronounce it Linus, but he's from Finland, so it's different. Eventually, the Linux kernel became a group project with a bunch of people contributing to it, and it's been growing ever since. In 1994, the Linux kernel contained 176,250 lines of code, and now it contains over 13 million. Now, the great thing about the Linux kernel is that it's open source, which leads us to our third question: what is open source software? If software is open source, it means that its code is open to the public. Anybody can see it, anybody can use it and modify it for their own means. Now, usually it also means that the software is free, funded by contributors rather than by sales. Windows and Mac OS X are closed source software.
Now, open source also means that you can download the source code and edit it how you like, and yeah. But it doesn't actually edit the actual program, I think. Yeah.
Where Microsoft and Apple make money from their sale. Their code is like Coca-Cola's secret recipe. It wouldn't be good business to let other people see it, because then other people could replicate it. Linux is open source. Anyone can see it and anyone can use it, which leads us to, what is a Linux distro? A Linux distro, or distribution, is an operating system that uses the Linux kernel. There are a lot of them. I mean, a lot. There are distributions for everything from desktops to mobile phones to tablet devices. So, is Linux easy to use? Now, this depends entirely on what distribution you choose. Some of them are catered more towards programmers.
Or what you're into, because there's so many Linux distributions. There's definitely one for everyone. But there mightn't be one for everyone, but there is for probably about 99% of the people. Maybe actually maybe only 5. Yeah. But if Linux isn't your thing, then
and hackers who understand code and how to run things from the command line. And other are made specifically to cater towards new users and to be more user-friendly. Generally speaking, the consensus is that Ubuntu is one of the easiest to use distributions. Now, that being said, even your easiest to use Linux distribution usually isn't going to be as easy to use as, say, Windows or Mac OS X. It isn't plug-in and play compatible. There's usually some tinkering you have to do once you install the operating system to get everything working properly.
Not with Mac OS X. Well, actually, okay. Plug a printer into Windows, needs drivers and stuff. You plug a printer into Mac OS X and it'll download the driver automatically. That's what I did. It was a HP printer though. I don't know if it works with all printers, but it was a HP DeskJet 5200, and I also plugged a regular webcam in. Worked straight away. There was no driver installed for the webcam or anything. It just worked. And I believe the same. Yeah, I did do Ubuntu once as well, and I had to tinker though to get the mic working, but the webcam worked straight off the bat. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe some gadgets. Anyway. I hate when the Flash does this.
This means that if you're the kind of person who gives up immediately when you have a computer problem and takes it to the Genius Bar or to the Geek Squad, Linux might not be the best idea for you. See, we don't have Geek Squads or Genius Bars. We have online forums. So when you have a problem, the first thing you do is you Google it. And if you can't find an answer that way, you post a message on a forum. There's a huge community of really, really helpful people out there who will usually reply within a day or two. Basically, when your computer has a problem, it's up to you to solve it. Okay, so why should you use a Linux-based operating system? Well, my biggest thing was that it's free. I was using Windows Vista and my computer was getting really slow. I'm a very impatient person and I don't like defragging, so I got kind of sick of it and I started to look into what this Linux thing was. And when I realized that it was free, that was a no-brainer. Windows 7, it was about $70 when it first came out, so I mean, free versus $70, free every time. Another good thing about Linux-based operating systems is that they're...
And same with Mac OS saying you do not need to defragment. So annoying defragmenting. I have a Windows computer as well, and I haven't defragmented it ever because it takes too long. But if I did, I would probably have a faster PC now.
Very secure. There are no viruses actively infecting Linux computers, so you don't need...
And same goes for Mac OS X. Just thought I'd tell you some of this info. I know it's probably useless to you if you're using Linux, but yeah, I'm a Linux fan as well, so...
Antivirus software. They're also extremely stable. They very, very rarely crash, and for this reason, a lot of servers out there run Linux. And this brings us to why shouldn't you...
Very, very true. About servers.
Use a Linux distribution. There is a ton of software out there that doesn't have a Linux build, meaning it won't run on your computer if you have a Linux-based operating system. If you really rely on iTunes, Netflix, Photoshop, or you're addicted to any form of PC game, such as World of Warcraft, Linux probably won't work for you. That being said, if you're still curious, you can try Linux without installing it on your computer. Just go on the website for whatever distribution you'd like to try, and there will be instructions on how to create a live CD, which you can run the operating system off of. Thanks.
Or you can dual boot. You can put 2 OSs on your computer and try Ubuntu that way. Or you can try, it's the same with every Linux OS, you can dual boot. Or if you want to try Ubuntu, you can use Wooly. It basically installs on your computer as dual boot, but instead of partitioning your hard drive, it installs it as a program. And yeah, go to wooly.org and check that out. So she's about to end the video, so I will too, and see you in the next one. And if you liked this video, then give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.